So I went to see the Cowboy Carter tour at MetLife Stadium. I saw it on May 28th. And honestly, there's a lot to go over. It was my first time going to a stadium concert like ever. And it was also my first time like traveling and staying the night without family going with me. So I was pretty nervous, but overall things went really well. So first I wanted to talk about the cost. This is something that obviously I considered, like I knew it was going to be really expensive. I saw people fighting for tickets on Ticketmaster and just prices were crazy. But something I didn't consider at first was like how much the travel itself would cost. Like we ended up driving and we stayed a night in an Airbnb because the concert ended so late. So that really racked up like how much we were spending. I also chose to spend a lot on my outfit, but that was my decision. Um, so I'm going to insert a video that I made breaking down like basically everything we paid for and how much the trip costs in total.
Let's talk about how much I spent to see Beyonce on tour. I bought 2 tickets for $220 each with an additional $20 exchange fee from when I upgraded our tickets from 300 level to 200 level. We stayed in an Airbnb for one night, which cost us $94.31. For travel, we spent about $40 on gas. For parking at MetLife Stadium, it cost us $40 as well. Before traveling, we placed an Amazon order, which included things like the clear bags that we needed for the stadium and earplugs, and that cost us $71.95. Prior to the trip, we went grocery shopping for snacks to avoid paying the exorbitant stadium food prices, and we spent $23.70 on that. Despite going grocery shopping before, we still spent $121.95 on food during the trip, but that included our lunch before the concert, breakfast in the morning, and all the caffeine stops during the drive. For outfits, my partner wore clothes that he already had and only spent $20 on a cowboy hat. On the other hand, for my entire outfit, I spent $143.54. To do my hair, I spent $17.26. For shopping, American Dream Mall is right next to the MetLife Stadium, and we spent a total of $35.99 on shopping. For merch, I spent $100 on mine, and my partner spent $55. So in total, we spent $1,223.70 on our 2-day trip to see Beyonce.
So for this trip, I really planned everything out. Like I had a whole itinerary set for the day. We didn't stick to the itinerary exactly because, some things just took longer than anticipated. And I also like made really big time blocks. So there was a lot of wiggle room. We drove there. Thankfully, my boyfriend came with me because he literally drove the entire way there and back and like to the concert venue, like literally everywhere we went, he drove, which I really, really appreciated. Our first stop was the Garden State Plaza in Paramus, New Jersey. So we went there and got lunch. We went to California Pizza Kitchen, which is one of our favorite restaurants. We actually ended up getting lost in the mall after eating. It took us a while to find like our way out and where we parked. So we were running a little bit late, but like I said, I made sure there was a lot of wiggle room in our itinerary. Then we had to check into the Airbnb, which I had never done before. I was a little nervous. And I scheduled us to have early check-in just to make sure like things were running smoothly. And like I said, at this point we were already a little bit behind schedule. So having early check-in was great. It made me worry less. And once we got to the Airbnb, we basically just got ready. I filmed a get ready with me, which I did post on this page a long time ago. But yeah, it's there if you want to go watch it. I also posted it on my TikTok and Instagram, which are the same handles that I have here. So once we finished getting ready, we drove down to the stadium. And the thing about MetLife Stadium is that it's literally right next to the American Dream Mall, which is like one of the biggest malls in the country. And there's literally like a tunnel. So you can like walk through that tunnel to get into the mall. And because of that, a lot of people either like some people will park in the MetLife Stadium parking. Some people choose to park in the American Dream Mall parking. So we ended up parking at MetLife Stadium because the parking was only $40 for all day, which in hindsight, that sounds a little crazy, but it made me feel more relaxed just to know we're parked by the stadium, didn't have to worry about it. And also I already knew this trip was going to be expensive. I saved up, I had money to spare. But initially we weren't sure if we were going to park there because I'd heard a lot of mixed things online. So we ended up talking to one of the workers there and they told us that like on certain days, the mall was like upcharging a lot, charging like $80 for parking. So we went with MetLife because I already knew that parking was going to be $40. It listed it on their website. So I just went with that safe option because we didn't know how much the mall was going to be charging for parking. So then we finally get parked, get out of the car. We parked near an exit. Like, we didn't go close to the stadium. We parked near the exit, which later on kind of sucked because after the concert, your feet are hurting. It was a long way to walk to get to the car, but we were able to get out of the parking lot relatively quickly because we parked so close to the entrance. But once we got there, we had to go to the ticket booth, or at least that's what I thought, because I bought our tickets online, obviously, and I bought 300 level tickets. Then I saw online that you can call and exchange your tickets, but they have to be, I think the tickets have to be, they can't be resale tickets. They have to be the original tickets. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say is, if you want to exchange your tickets, you can only exchange your tickets for new tickets that are either the same value or higher. And the tickets you're trying, the new tickets you're trying to get can't be resale tickets. They have to be the original price tickets from the venue. So I called MetLife, right? And I'm trying to get, or not MetLife. I called Ticketmaster to try to get my tickets exchanged. And I'm talking to this guy and he's telling me all these things about once you exchange them, there's no way to get the original tickets back. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. He tells me that I think it was a $20 exchange fee. It was $10 per ticket because I bought 2 tickets. So exchanging them both, it was just a $20 fee. And I was able to upgrade our tickets all the way from 300 level to 200 level. So after all these warnings he's giving me, I say, okay, go ahead, exchange the tickets. And then after he already exchanges them and there's no going back, then he tells me that my tickets are now will call tickets. And I'm like, what does that mean? And he tells me that for will call tickets, you have to go to the ticket booth once you get to the stadium and pick up the tickets. They're no longer mobile tickets. So that makes me panic because I'm like, I probably still would have exchanged them if I'd known that beforehand, but why didn't you tell me that beforehand? Because now after that, I had to change my whole itinerary. That's part of why I had so much extra time in my schedule, because I did not know what it was going to be like trying to pick up the tickets. I didn't know if there was going to be a line. But when I do get to the ticket booth and I ask about the tickets, they tell me, oh, it should be on your phone. And I'm like, well, when I called and exchanged my tickets, they told me that they wouldn't be mobile tickets anymore and that I needed to pick them up. So I'm trying to look them up on my phone, and I've been checking, in the weeks leading up to this concert, I've been checking, the QR code isn't showing up on my phone. So I'm thinking maybe it has to do with my, something's wrong with my phone or my service. So I log in on my boyfriend's phone and boom, the tickets are right there. So basically I was stressed for no reason and I didn't have to pick up the tickets. So after we got the tickets sorted out, then we went to the merch booth. That's another reason why I showed up early, because I did not want to have to wait in a super long line to get merch, or end up trying to be in line for the merch and missing the beginning of the show. So we get in line. The line wasn't that long, honestly. I got 2 items and spent $100 total. I got the black jersey, which I'm wearing right now. I really am so happy that I got the black because I thought the red and the blue ones were cute, but I really wanted the black and I got it. I have not washed it because I've heard that if you wash them, the white ink will come off. So I don't recommend washing it, or if you're going to wash it, make sure you do your research and figure out what you're going to do so that it doesn't get messed up. But I have not washed mine. I wear it rarely. I wear it over top of something else. I'm wearing a t-shirt under this right now. But so far, very happy with the quality. Then I also got the red patch set, which came with 3 patches. It came with this Cowboy Carter banner. Came with this one, which says Rodeo Chitlin Circuit. And then this one I thought was the cutest, even though I don't really like blue, but I really like the horseshoe design with the star. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with them yet. I tried to stick them on my wall, but they fell off, probably because I used painter's tape. The back is has a plasticky feeling. I'm not sure if they are iron-on patches, because there wasn't really any details on the packaging on what to do them. Because like generally with patches you would sew them on, but like you can also sometimes iron them on, but only specific patches like come with the iron on back. There's also like patch glue, but I don't really have like an item of clothing that I really want to put these patches on yet. So right now I kind of just have them. And then I also got the bracelet, of course. Everyone who like attends gets one. I did see online that at certain concerts they were trying to take these back. And then I also heard some people say that they didn't want to take the whole wristband. They were just trying to get like the light up piece back. But I don't really know. I didn't see anyone asking for these back when I was leaving. I didn't see any bins where they were collecting them. So I still have mine. And then my boyfriend bought the New York exclusive shirt. I'll try to insert a picture, but you know the one that like she's holding the Statue of Liberty and like lighting a cigar? That's the one that he bought, and it was $55. Did I say the price of all these? I don't think I did. The patches were $20. My jersey was $80. And then, like I said, everyone gets a wristband. It's free. It comes with the ticket. Okay, next, I want to talk about the weather. And I'm warning you, do not fall for the propaganda that it gets hot at these concerts. And obviously, it depends on a couple of factors. But for me, I saw a million videos where people were saying, it gets hot, make sure you bring a fan. I bought like the little electric fans for me and my boyfriend, and we were not hot. We were freezing cold. So one, obviously check the weather. I did check the weather. I was prepared for the rain. This was the tour date where it was pouring rain. And MetLife does not have a roof. So that's another thing to consider. I didn't know that beforehand. But like I said, this was my first ever stadium tour, and I don't watch sports, so I don't know much about stadiums. I didn't realize that there are some that are covered, some that aren't, but MetLife is not covered. So I was prepared for the rain. I had a poncho, I had a hat, I had gloves. I was wearing wool leggings under my jeans to keep me warm. And I did bring a jacket. My mistake was that I left the jacket in the car before going into the stadium. And this was because beforehand, like when we were walking around going to the merch booth, we also did end up going into the mall as well. We walked through that tunnel. But during that, I was burning up. Like I actually felt like I was going to faint. So that's why I took the jacket off and left it in the car. Like I still had my gloves, hat, wool leggings under my jeans and everything. But I really regret not bringing my jacket into the stadium with me because once the show started, I was getting cold. But yeah, so check the weather for your tour date. Also consider the fact that the sun is going to set. So like while I was overheating like beforehand, when we were there around like 4, once the sun went down, the wind started blowing, it was raining, I got really, really cold. Like if I have a picture of me in like with what I was wearing with the hat and the poncho and everything, I'll insert it because it was pretty funny. Okay, so during the actual show, the show was about 3 hours long. And if you get there early like I did, it's a lot of walking. And obviously, I brought cowgirl boots. I was supposed to have my tennis shoes with me as well, but I accidentally left them at the Airbnb because I was in a rush to get to the stadium. I ended up wearing my boyfriend's Crocs at one point during the show because my feet were hurting so bad, but then my socks got absolutely soaked because there was like, at one point with all the rain, there was like at least an inch of just standing water in the stadium. So don't forget a change of shoes like I did. And for my seats, we were in section 237, row 10, seats 9 and 10. And I would say it was a pretty good view. There's like websites online where you can look up the view from different seats in stadiums. So I was able to see it beforehand, especially when I was exchanging my tickets. I wanted to check that I'm exchanging them and getting a good view. But it was still a little far, but with Beyonce's show, she tends to have like those giant screens behind her. So even if you're like way, way in the back, you can still see what's happening. I also brought binoculars that I had checked out from my local library. So I was good with my view. And then obviously Beyonce has like a really huge discography. She's been in the industry for like 3 decades at this point. So some of the songs that really stood out to me from the show were Blackbird, America Has a Problem, My House, which she had mixed in like elements of Bow Down to that song, Flamenco, which was my favorite song off of the Cowboy Carter album. She did Tyrant with elements of Haunted mixed in, which was really cool. She did Sweet Honey Bucking, If I Were a Boy, and that one really stood out to me because I always love her live versions of it. Like I basically don't even listen to the original version anymore. I only listen to the live version from her I Am World Tour live album. Then she also performed Before I Let You Go, which is another song that she had on the Homecoming live album. Then there was Daughter. And I kind of was skipping over this song on the studio album, but hearing it live, like her vocals are just insane that I had to go back and listen to the studio version, and I listen to it a lot more often now. And then another part that really stood out was the dancers' rodeo interlude. I think one of the best parts about Beyonce's shows is the dancers, because in the past, Beyonce herself danced a lot. She obviously still had backup dancers, but like she was a main dancer. That's not so much the case anymore. Like, obviously, she's getting a bit older. She had a knee surgery after, or right before Renaissance, actually. During? I don't know. But she had a bad knee injury from the past. She finally got surgery on it. So I would say that her dancing was a little bit less on this tour. Hopefully, she can, dance a little more on the next one. Hopefully, her knee recovery goes smoothly. So I really enjoyed the dancer interlude, and I like how she puts a spotlight on basically the people that she works with and that really help make the show so special. And seeing Blue Ivy dance to Deja Vu was insane. Like, I've seen edits like since then where people are clipping together like Beyonce's live performance of that song, doing that choreography with Blue Ivy doing it. And it's just so cool to see her like really improve with her dance, because I remember when she was on the Renaissance tour, I didn't get to go and see it, but online there were so many people sending that little girl hate, and it's so sad. But it's really nice to see that she didn't let it get to her and that she's working hard and improving, and her dancing was amazing on this tour. Overall, the show was just like really amazing. I've been a fan of Beyonce for a long time. Well, not a long time. I'm only 19, but as long as I can remember, she's been my favorite artist. And I really think she's just not comparable to other artists because her career has just been so long. And like, she started in the 90s with Destiny's Child, and then she went solo. She's had like 8 studio albums. Yeah, she's just done so much in the music industry that I just really don't think any other artist is comparable. Like, I literally think she's a living legend. And the Legacy interlude that she did, where it shows like pictures of her from like so many different eras all the way across her career from when she was a little girl to the present, just really emphasized that. And then towards the end, when she does 16 Carriages and she's like basically flying through the stadium on that red car, I loved that part. It was so cool to see. Her vocals were amazing. And especially because when she was releasing the singles for this album, she released 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em. And I always thought that 16 Carriages was a way better song of the two. Like, I remember when it came out, there was a whole bunch of criticism, especially about Texas Hold'em. And I was like, why are we ignoring 16 Carriages? Like, you want to say Texas Hold'em isn't country enough, or it's making a mockery of country? Like, I don't even know what people were saying, but I feel like 16 Carriages was much more reflective of what the album actually was, and was just the better song overall. So I really loved seeing it live. I only had a couple, or like 3 negative things about the show. I felt personally offended when she only sang the intro of, or only played the intro of Freakum Dress. That's one of my favorite songs from her entire discography. And I was low-key really disappointed when it like morphed into Irreplaceable. I love Irreplaceable too, but I got so excited and then she didn't perform the whole song. Next, I think it's different when it's not raining, but all of the band and like backup singers were all like in the tunnel on the stage throughout the show, which I'm sure it was just because it was raining, but I would have liked to see them on stage. So hopefully the next time I go to see her, well, if there's a next time, that's a whole different thing. But hopefully the next time, if I get to go see her again, they get to be out on the stage and the weather is nice. And then the thing that bothered me most was the camera policy. I actually made a separate video about this too, like on Instagram, TikTok, and on Shorts I posted it. But there was a no camera policy, which that really irritated me because like the camera I'm filming on now, it's a very small camera. And I checked MetLife Stadium's policy about cameras. And they have certain rules about like the size of the camera, the size of the lens, and my camera falls perfectly in line with those policies. And it wasn't until the Know Before You Go document for the Beyonce concert came out, like it wasn't until then did I know that cameras weren't going to be allowed, like at all, basically. So I was already irritated because it goes against what MetLife's like stadium policy is. And then also I was like, I know obviously logistically they can't ban phones, but I'm like, before I went to see the show, I've been seeing like live streams of the entire concert. So I'm like, people can bring their phones in, which a lot of the time these cameras are just as good as like an actual camera. And people are live streaming the whole event and nothing's done about that. But I can't bring in my like 2x4 digital camera to take pictures of my outfit. Like that was something that did bother me a little bit. But yeah, so overall, I would say it was a really great experience. I would recommend. I do think the tickets are a little bit overpriced, but that has more to do with like Ticketmaster and dynamic pricing. So I don't really know what else there is to be done about that, but I don't regret spending the money on it. I definitely really hope to go to her next tour, very much anticipating the third act of the Renaissance Project. And yeah, no matter how much it costs, I intend to go to the next tour because I missed Renaissance. I was like 16, I think, when it happened. And I talked to my mom about it, and she said that if I really wanted to go, if I could afford the tickets, she'd let me go. But that summer, I was just doing a lot. Like, I don't know, I was traveling, working, and every tour date that like could have possibly made sense, I had some kind of conflict. Wish I could have gone. So I'm definitely going to try to make it to the third act. But, you know, like I said, the cost, it's going to be hard, especially as a college student. Like I don't make a lot of money. You know, college expenses I have to worry about. And I'm also trying to like start paying off my loans early and be financially responsible and all of that. But I know it's something I want to do. So I'm going to plan ahead, save my money, and hopefully be able to afford it when the time comes. Yeah, so I posted some short form content here and on my other platforms, TikTok and Instagram. If you want to go check that out, where I did like get ready with me's, some videos of like prep I did beforehand, like styling my hair for the concert. So the links to all my other social media will be in the description. And I hope you check it out if you like this video. And if you like me, please subscribe, like the video. And yeah, that's it.